Hello, welcome back to Codehaven. My name is Charlie, and today we'll be going over how to create your very own Mario game in Scratch. Let's start off by playing the game. I can control Mario by using the up, down, left, and right arrow keys. The goal of this level, and every level in the game, is to collect the green mushroom. Let's go get it. Awesome. Now I need to make sure I stay away from the red turtle and the spiky ball. Otherwise, I'm going to lose one of my lives. Let's try out this level too. There we go. We won the level and we beat the game. Now, let's take a look inside the game and see how we can make it by ourselves. I want the code to start working when I click the green flag, so I'm going to grab that block from the events category. Next up, I want to make sure Mario actually shows up on the screen, so I'm going to grab a show block from the look section. Afterwards, I want to make sure Mario starts in the correct position at the start of the game, so let's grab a go-to block from the motion category. Now I want to check for certain conditions throughout the duration of the game. In order to do that, I'm going to need a forever loop. Let's grab one from the control section. Now, let's write the code to control Mario with our arrow keys. I'm going to need 4 if statements for that, one for each arrow key. 1, 2, 3, and 4. For each one of these, I'm going to grab a block from the sensing category to detect whenever a up key, down key, left key, or right key is pressed. Up, down, right, and left. Now, let's actually get Mario to move. I'm going to go to the motion section and grab a change X by 5 block to signify Mario moving to the right. Now I'm going to grab the same block and put it underneath the left arrow if statement, but I'm going to change the number 5 to -5 so Mario moves to the left instead of the right. We'll do the same for up and down, but instead of X, we'll be changing Y, so I'll grab this block right here. We want to change Y by 5 for up, and by -5 for down. Awesome. We also want to make sure that whenever we move Mario, if he ends up touching the wall, we want to make sure he doesn't go through the wall. In order to check for that, we need another if statement within each arrow key block. 1, 2, 3, and 4. In order to detect whenever Mario is touching a wall, I'm going to go to Sensing and get a if touching color block. There we go. And the color that we're touching should match the wall, which it does in this case. Now we're going to go back to the motion section and grab another change Y or change X block in order to make sure Mario doesn't run through the wall. Each time we're going to flip the number. For example, for the up arrow, we're going to grab a change Y block, but instead of by 5, we want to change by -5. Then, for the down key block, we're going to grab another change Y, but instead of -5, we're going to do 5. I'll repeat the same thing for the right and left arrow keys. However, instead of change Y, we'll be using change X. Great! Now let's get the code so that Mario can touch the mushroom, the turtle, and the spiky ball. Let's start off with the red turtle. We're going to need another if statement. And then I'm going to go back to Sensing and grab a touch-in block. And I'm going to select Koopa Red. That's the name of the turtle. So now, if Mario ends up touching the red turtle, we want him to first lose a life, then go back to the start position, and last but not least, we want him to say, ouch. Let's do that. Let's start off by deducting a life each time he touches the red turtle. We'll go to the variables section, grab a change block, set the variable to lives, and we're going to change the number to -1 since we want to remove 1 life. Now I'm going to go to the motion section. I'm going to grab a go-to block so that Mario will always go back to the start of the game if he hits the red turtle. Last but not least, let's go to the look section and grab a say block. This way, whenever Mario touches the red turtle, he will say ouch. Now I'm going to do the same thing, except this time I'm going to change the touching block to the spiky ball. Here's the if. Here's the sensing block. We're going to choose the spiky ball, called Chomp Chomp Chomp. We're going to change the life variable by -1. I'm going to grab a motion block to bring Mario back to the start of the game. And I'm going to have him say, ouch. Now, the last thing we need to do is write the code for when Mario touches the mushroom. Let's do that. I'm going to grab another if statement. I'm going to grab a sensing block that says if touching the mushroom. I'm going to select the mushroom. And now let's walk through the logic. If Mario's touching the mushroom, I want to, first of all, give Mario an extra life. You deserve a prize if you touch the mushroom, so let's do that. I'm going to grab a change block, select lives, and increase by 1. We also want to change the level, so I'm going to grab another change block, make sure the level is selected, and then leave the number at 1. Next up, we want Mario to go back to the starting position for the next level, so I'm going to go to the motion section and grab a go-to block. I also want him to say hooray whenever he touches the mushroom, so let's go to looks and grab a say block. Let's change the text to hooray. And then finally, I want to switch the background of the level to the next one, so I'm going to grab this block right here. Next backdrop. And there you go. We finished the code for Mario. Great job. Now let's write the code for the mushroom. I'm going to have the mushroom control some of our game mechanics, such as controlling the variables, the backdrops, and more. Let's get started with the green flag pressed block, just like last time. Now, let's think about what we want to do. Whenever the game starts, I want to make sure that we start off with 3 lives and the level is set to 1. So, let's do that. Let's go to the variables section, grab a set block, 2 of them in fact, 1 for the level and 1 for lives, and we want to set the level to level 1 at the start. As for lives, we want to start off with 3 lives. We also want to make sure that we start off with the right background. So let's go to the look section and then grab the switch backdrop block. We want to make sure we select the level 1 backdrop. That way, whenever the game starts, we start off at level 1. Now, we want to always make sure that whenever the lives counter is equal to 0, we end the game. In order to do that, we're going to need a forever loop and an if statement. Let's grab those from the control section. What do we want to check inside of our if statement? Well, we want to check if lives is equal to 0. In order to do that, I'm going to grab a green block from the operator section. We're going to grab the equals block. And then we're going to grab lives from variables. We want to check whenever lives is equal to 0, so I'm going to change this number to 0. What do we want to do whenever lives is equal to 0? Well, we want to end the game. So I'm going to go to looks and then grab a switch backdrop block. We want to make sure it switches to game over. Awesome. Let's write the code for Koopa the Red Turtle now. We're going to start off with a when green flag pressed block, just like last time. Now we want to make sure that Koopa the Red Turtle is hidden at the start of the game. Otherwise, level 1 would be too hard for the player. In order to do that, let's grab a hide block from the looks section. However, we want to make sure he starts moving around the screen, even though he's hidden. So that way, when he does show up in level 2 or level 3, he's already moving for us. In order to do that, we're going to need a forever loop from the control section. Then, let's actually put in the code for him to move. We're going to go to the motion section, grab a move block, and let's change the number to 5. We also want to make sure that if he's on the edge of the screen, he bounces off of it. Otherwise, he's going to walk right off the screen. So in order to do that, let's grab this block right here. We also want to check to see whether or not Koopa is touching the wall. If he is, we want to make sure he goes backwards and picks a random direction to go in next. In order to do that, we will need an if statement. We then want to make sure he's touching the wall. So let's go to the Sense In section and grab a touching color block. We want to pick a color that matches the color of the wall. There we go. Then let's grab a move block from the motion section. We're going to change the number to -5 so that he moves backwards. And then we're going to have him point in a random direction. In order to do that, let's grab this block right here. And then we're going to do some really quick math to pick a random direction. We're going to need a direction block, an operator block, specifically the minus block, and then a pick random block. Then we will say, let's pick a random direction where direction equals direction minus a random number between 1 and 180. We'll drag this whole thing into here, and now whenever Koopa is touching the wall, he will always move backwards and then pick a random direction to point in for the next time. We're not done yet though. Whenever level 2 or level 3 appears, we want to make sure he shows up on the screen and starts at a random location. In order to do that, let's start off by going to the events section. Let's grab this block right here, when backdrop switches to blank. In our case, we want 2 of these, one for level 2 and one for level 3. Let's select level 2 and level 3. Whenever these levels start, we want to make sure he shows up. So let's go to the look section and grab a show block. There we go. And now we want to also make sure that he starts off in a random position. So let's go to the motion section and grab a go to random position block. One for each. Last but not least, let's write the code for Chomp Chomp the spiky ball. Just like Koopa, we want to make sure that he starts off hidden but also begins moving when the green flag is pressed. Let's do that. Let's go to events and grab our green flag block. Then let's go to looks and grab our hide block. And then let's go back to control and grab a forever loop. Now, let's write the code for him to move around the screen. Let's go to the motion section and grab a move block. Let's set the number to 5. We also want to make sure that he turns in a random direction each time. In order to do that, let's grab the turn blank degrees block. Then, we'll go to operators and use the pick random block to pick a random number each time. We want to pick a random number between 0 and 30. Then, just like Koopa, we want to make sure that we're checking to see if he's on the edge of the screen, and if so, we want to make sure he bounces off of it. Otherwise, he's going to run right off the screen. Let's go to motion and grab that block. If on edge, bounce. Then, just like Koopa, we want to check to see if he's touching the wall, and if so, he should move backwards and pick a new direction. We're going to grab an if statement, then a touch and color block from sensing. We're going to pick a color that matches the wall. Then we're going to grab a move block and flip the number. In this case, it will now be -5. And then we want to pick a random direction. So let's grab the turn block again. Another pick random from operators. But this time, let's pick a random number between -90 and 90 degrees. Great. Now, let's figure out what he should do in levels 2 and 3. Let's go to events and grab the blocks that we will need. When backdrop switches to level 2 and level 3. At the start of these levels, we want to make sure that he shows up. So let's go to the look section and grab a show block. One for each. And then we want to make sure that he starts off in the center of the screen. So let's go to the motion section and grab a go to block. One for each. Congrats! Just like that, you finished creating your very own Mario game in Scratch.